Good morning. Today's episode is going to be preparing for lahm majoon or lahm bajin, and that's a Mediterranean recipe. People on the eastern border of Mediterranean specialize in it. This is a recipe from back home and goes back about 120 years. First, prepping the dough, and then eventually we're going to go through the hashwe, which is considered to be the lamb meat and the herbs plus the vegetables. We're going to start with the dough. It's going to be 250 grams of unbleached flour, 4 tablespoons of clarified butter, 1 teaspoon of sugar, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We're going to add to it 125 grams of spring water. And we're going to mix. Okay, now we're going to knead the dough on a flat table. Okay, now the dough is soft on the surface, well mixed, about 4 to 5 minutes by hand, and then we add the butter for it. It's going to soften it even further, preserve it. You have to remember there is no yeast in this dough, so it's not supposed to be rising, but it's supposed to be resting. We'll cover it, so keep it hydrated. And let it rest for about 3-4 hours. Meanwhile, we're going to start prepping the hashwe, which is the topping of the ground lamb and beef. Okay, now we're preparing for the hashwe, which is the topping on the lahm majoon. We are using 1 pound of mixed ground beef and ground lamb. It's 100% organic, no antibiotics, anything. This is the healthiest form of ground beef and lamb. We're adding to it 1 small tomato, preferably Roma tomato, half white onion, and just a couple of springs onion as well. 2 small cloves of minced garlic, 1 green pepper. It's medium heat. If you like to add more, you can just add some flakes, red flakes, and a small portion, almost like about 1/4 of cilantro. I'm sorry, it's 1/4 of parsley. This is the fresh ingredients. We're going to add to it basically the dry green ingredients, which is 1 teaspoon of paprika, half teaspoon of coriander, half teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon, full teaspoon of paste, red pepper paste, 1.5 tablespoon of yogurt, and 1 teaspoon of salt, half teaspoon of cinnamon, and we're going to add to it half a teaspoon as well of ground pepper. For this recipe to be completed, this is the main ingredient: molasses, pomegranate molasses. It gives it basically a sweet taste, plus the lemony aftertaste. Some extra virgin olive oil, which is about 2 tablespoons, and then we're gonna mix it all together. So after mixing it thoroughly, this is what we come out basically. It's almost like a paste, and we're gonna cover it. And put it in the fridge for about a couple hours. Let it marinate. By the time it's marinated, the dough is going to be ready. All right, we're going to the supermarket to get some ingredients for our recipe today. Today is the first day that we get snow in Boston. It's beautiful. So we decided to walk and not take the car. And we'll see you when we're back. So after letting the dough rest for almost 4 hours, as you can see, it's very soft. So we're gonna start cutting it into portions. Have the right weight for it. We're looking at 70 to 75. That's what we have. We drench the dough with butter, melted butter. And let it rest for another hour. So after letting the dough rest for about an hour, we start spreading it. There's two ways of doing it. Either you spread it by hand, which is the normal way of doing it, or if you're a professional and your wife is not going to yell at you, you start basically flipping it, but that's going to be messy. So we're doing it the safest way. If you feel that the surface is getting harder, you just smear it with some butter, melted butter. That's going to soften it and allow you to spread it even further. Yeah. start folding it. Make sure you do not have the edges. Do not worry about the tear in the surface of this dough. This is all gonna be okay after you spread it evenly. And you need those pockets of air. Alright, so we took the beef out of the fridge. This is what it is. A lot of people will either cook it before they spread it on the dough, and some of them basically they drain it from the liquid. I don't do that. And you're gonna find out the result at the end. So we portion the amounts that we put there. And after we portion it, we're going to spread it. Spread it evenly. Make sure that it's not lumped in one place or one angle. Spread it evenly so it will cook evenly as well. Put them in an oven. We put some nuts. This is basically what we found in the supermarket. We were preferring to have the pine nuts, but we ended up with slivered almond. Make sure that you put it in the water so it doesn't burn when it's in the oven. And it's going to cook evenly with the beef. Alright, the dough is ready right now. We're going to put it in the oven at 500 degrees and watch it for about 5 to 7 minutes. So it took about 11 minutes, and this is the result on the bottom. It's fully cooked, and as you can see, it's still moist because we left the juices and we didn't pre-cook the meat. All right, final stage, the testing period. Do it the proper way. That's the proper way. Oh my God. Awesome. Never forget the ayran, which is the yogurt drink. Goes very well with it.